what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you.
Hello to all my love and light beings. Welcome back to my station. For those of you who are new, my name is Sean Ivan D, aka my Alaskan Queen. If you'd like to join the Secret Sacred Shadow Spirit Society, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe below. In today's video, I recreated this look. I got the idea from Peter Mon, and it was actually done by Makeup by Shania and James Charles, but it comes from Ariana Grande's newest CD. I believe it's called No More Tears. And it was my first attempt. Not too impressed by it, but it was a lot of fun. I think with a little bit more work, I'll be able to get the colors blended a lot more and get more of that natural rainbow shine. So if you'd like to see how I completed this look, keep on watching. For those of you who don't like it, go ahead and keep on watching also, but please keep your negativity to yourself. I greatly appreciate it.
Are you ready for it?
So this is being continued from my punk rock goth series. I began a story there and I'm going to go ahead and continue it. I came back to as my doctor slams the metal door behind him as he enters the room. I thought my life was over. I was experiencing the stresses and burdens of life that I have placed upon myself, and life was catching up with me in the form of an anxiety attack. Somehow I was going to have to accept responsibility for my actions, is what I understood my doctor saying to me. You need to make more responsible decisions. He looks through his beady little glasses. Reminds me of Niles from the Frasier series, only older with a much drier sense of witty humor as he says, if you're going to play with fire, you're going to get burnt. I took his pills, his advice, and moved on. Why is it that doctors are always giving you something for the symptoms, but never the underlying causes or issues? Probably because they're mostly self-manifested. I just happened to take a one-credit class called Coping with Stress, which could not have had better timing. Like a week after my mental health moment, I like to call it. During which, in actuality, was one of the greatest breakthroughs I've had in my life thus far. Stress in particular, chronic or long-term stress, can and does have astounding effects on the body, both physically and mentally. You can become physically sick because your immune system breaks down, making you susceptible to airborne illnesses. Shortly after my DUI, I was diagnosed with a bone disorder that is mainly found in elderly women that I was totally unaware of, and even the doctors were astonished and had no idea why this would be happening in such a young individual, especially a man. What I was aware of was the 3 compressed vertebrae, 2 slipped discs, and the strained and sprained muscle spasms that were being caused by the messed up bones in my back. Well, later on it was brought to my attention that stress and anxiety causes TMS, tension mitosis syndrome, a condition which causes muscle to spasm in the neck and back, often resulting in stiffness and sore tired muscles. Prolonged chronic stress has been shown to cause peptic ulcers, and even worse, slows the reproduction process of bone marrow and the ability for the bones to produce and improve in their density. After my crash course in stress and discovering different ways and techniques in which I can alleviate the daily burdens of stress and anxiety that I come across, along with that and incorporating some values and beliefs I obtained through numerous programs and meetings and through the support shown by my family, I have chosen to live a healthier, happier lifestyle. I have only begun to discover greater things about myself, but it is with experience, strength, and hope I am able to proudly stand before you, or sit here and read and share my story, learn from it, and carry on with life without negativity, without worry, stress, and anxiety, knowing that I am in control of my own well-being, including my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. A happiness of a new enlightenment and riches beyond the physical realm does exist. One can only obtain them through the imagination and creativity of letting your mind run wild through the forest like a ferocious lion in his domain, not letting any of his territory go unclaimed at any given moment in time. Protect your essence of spirit and stand up for what you believe in, for what is perceivable by mind is possible by mind, especially if you put enough heart into it. Belief is something that too many of us fail, forget, or even deny ourselves to put a little heart into. Follow your heart, your dreams, your desires, and passions, and happiness shall follow you. The hardest part for me to overcome was recognizing who my real friends were and gaining back the trust of my close loved ones, especially my family, during my recovery process. Why was I beating myself up over the things that I had totally no control over and stressing over it? Exposing myself to chronic stress and anxiety and repeated torment to those deadly elements had taken a huge toll on my body, mentally, physically, and spiritually, taken away from me two things I deem necessary for a fulfilled life, which are hope and strength. You truly do not know hope unless you have lost it and know the feeling and appreciation you have when you get it back. And you truly cannot experience strength unless you have known what it is like to be weak. In my darkest of hours, all I really needed was a new outlook on life, but I just continued building the burdens that formed a wall blocking me in from the light. I was so blinded by my own self-pity, I didn't realize that the answers that I was seeking and what I needed to feel better was right there within me the whole time. Rather than discovering what was there within me the whole time, more importantly, it was an epiphany for me to have recognition and relinquishment of all the unwanted negative energies of myself and others, and an acceptance and responsibility for the actions I have chosen and continue to take, giving myself a feeling and emotion of a freeing of the soul, so to speak. I am living through consciousness and gaining the ability to carry that out one day at a time. If we all live a little more with our hearts, the world would be a better place. Realization of the past and insight into a new direction of spiritual enlightenment, awareness releases all bonds and former connection and ties to barriers once keeping us from fulfilling our own personal success, dreams, and desires. One has come across a question he thinks no one can answer but thyself, and thus can only be answered by those that are in and of culture itself. Is the oral tradition of the indigenous cultures the new written traditions of today's generation of youth? What I mean is that culture and traditions change and are constantly adapting to their surroundings so that they can be better interpreted and more easily understood in that particular environment in a constantly changing world. Traditions and cultures change, some from such unfortunate reasons we will discuss later on, and others of much more positive descent. However, the morals and the values, they stay the same. In a time and place now of much more acceptance, why can't we rekindle the past, revitalize the backbone of our cultural traditions to the fullest extent, and fear not, for we are protected and bound by the covenant of the sacredness to it, and all the great and powerful spirits it entails. Let us allow our spiritual ancestors to bring back our traditions and practices that brought them so much life. Let us begin by first telling our story, and the stories that were once told to us, even if that means reading to our children's children, before someone else does. So thus, dual spirit, that which thy will become one, they wrote poems. Raven is a friend of mine, Raven is a friend of mine, never too far is she. Even when days are cold and long, I am not without recognition of her songs. She warms the frostbitten air with sounds of such familiarity, yet I cannot understand a word she says. Raven is a friend of mine. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your love and support. Sending my love and light out to all my Secret Sacred Shadow Spirit Society members. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Big hugs and kisses.
Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just